Gluten-free diets is a trendy way people are turning from the regular lifestyle. But it's not just a fashion thing that you can boast with your friends during the regular coffee mornings. Many people are diagnosed with a condition called celiac disease, sometimes spelled as celiac, and the doctors have informed them that they will have to stay away from foods containing gluten for the rest of their lives. Now, initially, this can be a bit of a scary time, but you shouldn't allow it to dominate your life. The internet is full of information and more people are writing good books about this topic. First, let's just explain what gluten actually is. Gluten is a special kind of protein which is found in wheat, grains, rye and barley. The main purpose is to keep food elasticity intact during production phase. With me so far? Okay, good. The problem is, not everyone can digest gluten properly, which can be a bit of a problem and it can be harmful. Less than 10% of the world's population have a gluten intolerance or may have been diagnosed as having celiac disease. What is celiac disease and what are the symptoms? Being diagnosed with any disease, no matter what it is, can be just a bit scary for the sufferer, and celiac disease is no different. The symptoms you are going to incur include diarrhea, constipation, anemia, joint pains and a very nasty itchy skin rash. If you are suffering from any or all of these, then an immediate trip to the doctor is well advised. Problems can arise when you may have celiac disease but without any of the symptoms listed above, so regular contact with your doctor is essential. Gluten-free diets are a must only when you are diagnosed with celiac or you suffer from a gluten intolerance condition. Everything else is just a choice. If you think you might be sensitive, keep eating foods as you normally would and ask for a blood test. Doing it this way, you will be certain that the blood test is accurate. If you have not eaten foods containing gluten, the test will be normal. Yes, there is some good news. Gluten-free diets are not all bad. In fact, they can be a healthier path to success. A lot of foods are gluten-free naturally, like fruits, vegetables, meat, eggs and cheese, so you would not need to sacrifice a very big portion of your diet. You can still enjoy the company of a good wine or cider or sherry, but beer should be avoided. If you just want to try the gluten-free diet, you can. Just focus on the foods we just mentioned above. Check grains like quinoa, which is gluten-free, and be certain to always check the labels of all products that you purchase from the supermarket or your local store. Let's talk about the myths of a gluten-free diet. Now, before we start with the myths and some facts about a gluten-free diet, we would need to stress that such a diet is a must for celiac diagnosed people and people with non-celiac gluten sensitivity. The first is a condition where gluten causes an adverse reaction, damaging cells and can lead to a serious situation. The second is if your body cannot tolerate gluten, but the end effect is not as severe as a celiac disease. In both these cases though, a gluten-free diet is the solution. Myth number 1. Less gluten equals better stomach. This is another myth that has been blown out of all proportion. According to some studies, if you remove gluten from your diet, your digestive system will improve significantly, which will result in a healthier lifestyle. Well, yes, in a way, but only if you are sensitive to gluten. If you are not, there is absolutely no evidence proving that your stomach will be better shape if you cut down on gluten. Myth number 2. Weight loss and a healthier lifestyle. Most modern health-related magazines will urge you to be gluten-free as it will help you lose weight and you will be in better physical shape. Those kind of statements are not proven to anyone who is not sensitive to gluten. If your current diet is revolving around pasta, bread and cookies, and you switch to naturally gluten-free foods like vegetables, fruits, eggs and milk, of course you will get healthier and you will lose weight, but the reason is not the gluten itself. Gluten-free foods are healthier than the rest. The same magazines and media that are trying to push the gluten-free fashion in our lives will be putting this information into our brains. Gluten-free foods are healthier than their counterparts. Since manufacturers cannot use gluten-containing grains like wheat when producing some foods, they need to substitute the gluten with something else. A great way to make such a substitution is to add fats and sugars more than there were before. It is a great way to market the products with a gluten-free label, but that does not mean that it is a healthier option. Myth number 4, no alcohol. This is not as bad as it sounds. Now, just because you have a celiac disease or you have a gluten intolerance doesn't necessarily mean you have to live without alcohol. For the record, beer is definitely off the menu, but you can become a wine lover as it does not contain gluten. On the more positive side, it's also less fattening than beer. Distilled alcohol is inherently gluten-free, and that includes gin, vodka, scotch whiskey, and rye whiskey. Like I said, things are not so bad after all. Our gluten-free food list. In the present climate, embracing a gluten-free diet has never been easier. You're going to find that when you know how to shop for gluten-free groceries, finding things that are filling, delicious and healthy is going to be really easy. Now, you will obviously have to make some changes to your grocery shopping, and you will also need to change your attitude to how you look and view certain foods. A gluten-free diet is far more flexible than it often gets credit for, but being as you can imagine, you'll still need to make some basic lifestyle changes. Even so, these changes are well worth making. When you consider even a small list of gluten-free foods you can find at virtually any grocery store, you're going to be well impressed. Check out our gluten-free food list. If you're going to come up with a gluten-free food list that's worth getting excited about, then you'll want to keep the following foods in mind. Do bear in mind that the following list is just a basic guide to whet your appetite. Cold cereals. Products like rice shea, which are also available in the UK via Amazon, are not just a great option for a gluten-free breakfast, but they can also give you the vitamins and minerals that you are absolutely going to want for yourself in the morning. Hot cereal, another great breakfast option. You can shop around for gluten-free oats without too much trouble. One of the nice things about an option like this is the fact that you have so many different possibilities for flavoring things up. Dry pasta. Gluten-free pasta is pretty easy to come by these days. There are also tons of pasta recipes that can let you take care of at least a couple of days worth of your lunches and dinners. Baked pasta. To be fair, there are a lot of gluten-free baked pasta options out there that can strike you as something of an overindulgence. But still, if you want to treat yourself to something like a yummy baked lasagna, there are a number of gluten-free products out there. Bread. Canyon Bakehouse in the United States is just one of the companies that makes a variety of different gluten-free products. Nobody mentioned you actually had to give up bread. For non-US citizens, nearly every country in the world has a variety of bakeries specializing in gluten-free bread. Just nip onto Google and Google gluten-free bread. Chicken. Your new gluten-free diet can find a ton of different ways to enjoy chicken. Believe it or not, but there are even gluten-free chicken nuggets and similar products that feature breeding. Healthy fats. This includes stuff like sesame oil, cheese, almond milk, and nut butters. For your proteins, eggs are a good example for this. As is wild fish, and grass-fed meats are okay too. Veggies. Leafy greens and lettuces are always a smart idea. As I said earlier, these are just a few suggestions to get your taste buds moving. If you're in any doubt when purchasing gluten-free products, do read the labels very carefully, or just ask an assistant. I do hope you enjoyed watching this video. We made it to both educate and entertain. Thanks for watching.